Your brain is throwing away 99% of what is in front of you right now. I want to believe in manifesting. I really do. It sounds like such an amazing thing to just think about things and they appear if you focus on them. But I'm a pragmatist and I have a hard time getting behind something unless I can fully understand the mechanism behind how it works. And as I dug more into this manifesting community and what they're believing, I started to find something that I found to be even more amazing than what they purport. You see, it comes down to a filtering system that your brain has built into it that you probably never heard of, and once you see it, you can't turn back and see reality the same way ever again. What this is called is your reticular activating system, and what it is a cluster of cells in your brainstem that helps filter what you see. Your brain is getting roughly 11 million bits of information at any given time, and it can only process consciously about 40 to 50 of those bits. So it is filtering away almost 99.9% of what you take in. And so then that's partly just because you can't consciously deal with everything that's coming in at you. And if you can't believe it, think about this for a second. You know, I'm sitting in a chair right now, and I'm sure many of you are as well. And unless you think about it, you don't even realize where this is touching you on your body. And then once you start to focus on it, you can tell that, oh yeah, I can get the sensory input and tell that I'm sitting in a chair. But if the same thing were to happen, you're standing in a grocery store line and someone puts their hand on your butt, I promise you're going to feel it right away and you're not going to ignore it. So that's just your brain filtering in what's important at the moment in time and what's not. And it's been secretly running your life, and until you realize that it's a system that it's there, you can't do anything about it. It's running by default and programmed by your history, your family, your schooling, your culture, your beliefs. And once you know that this is there, you can start to work with it more artfully and choose what you focus on instead of letting it run by fear and programming of society. Another example that might be relatable is deciding to buy a new car. All of a sudden you see it everywhere, whereas a couple of weeks ago you didn't. And it's not that the car is more prevalent, you're just tuning your RAS to look for that car, and all of a sudden you're seeing it everywhere. Another more useful, but maybe less obvious example is having two different mindsets. Imagine two different people, they both just got fired or passed over for a promotion, and one has the lens of tuning their RAS that they're a victim, that the world's out to get them and nothing good ever happens to them. And then the second person is somebody who thinks that things work out for them and things that always happen for a reason. And the first person that thinks they're a victim gets passed over for promotion. They're going to be depressed and sad and say, see, nothing good ever happens to me. I might as well quit trying. They're going to feel disempowered. The second person who thinks that things work out for them will see this in a very different way. They may be still frustrated, sad, and not happy about this, but they may say, okay, maybe this happened for a reason. Maybe I'm meant for something greater. Maybe this company is not for me. I need to look at my opportunities. And it gives them a much more useful and positive way to look onto the world. And the second person with a positive outlook is certainly going to be more empowered to move forward, get better, do bigger and greater things down the road. The victim mindset's going to be powerless. So those are just two different ways of tuning your RAS. So this is how I think about it. To me, this is the real manifesting. This isn't magic. This isn't the brain bending the laws of physics. This is neuroscience. This is using a system that's built into your brain, that's always been there, that evolution has given us because, again, there's just too much information at any moment for our brain to process on a conscious level, and it's helping us determine what's really important for us. But here's the takeaway message I want you to have, is that this lens, or this filter, if you will, is programmable. We all have beliefs that we've inherited from society, teachers, parents. We've gotten a lot of them in childhood, but we continue to absorb them throughout our lives, through the people around us, our culture. And they help program our RAS, and it tells us what to look for, and it gives us a bias and a lens to look through things. And it's like real glasses, it's like a pair of glasses you put on that you're so used to seeing through them, you don't even realize they're there anymore. So that's what beliefs are like, and they're not really ultimate reality. They're ideas or thoughts that you just repeated so much that you take them for the truth, but they're not really the truth, because two different people can have the same take on the different takes on the same situation. It's not that reality has changed, it's just that they're just two takes on the same thing. So that's the takeaway message, is that now that you see this system, you can realize that it's there, it's operating in the background, it has defaults of all the values and beliefs that you've been inherited throughout your days of life so far. And now you realize you have a choice. You can use a more productive filter that's going to get you what you actually want. And here's the challenge that I have for you is that you can try and experiment with this for yourself and see if I'm crazy or if there might be something to it. So you can try, changing your fundamental beliefs takes time. One simple thing you can do though is work with goals, which is a simple way to program your RAS on a more of a micro scale, if you will. So as I've talked about and written about before, if you write down your goals and review them every morning, it's basically reminding your reticular activating system, this is what I want out of life. And it may be a yearly goal. That's actually what I review every morning, but I also have some micro goals for the day, depending on what I'm trying to accomplish. But the big yearly goals I review every day. And this reminds me of what I'm looking for, because if you don't get reminded that you're going to live day to day, put out fires, deal with things as they arise, and not work towards your bigger goals. You have to remind your brain and your reticular activating system of what it actually is that you're striving for, because it's a lot less likely you're going to get there if you don't. And so my challenge to you is do this for a month. Pick something small, something achievable in a month. You're not going to go from making $0 per year to making $10 million a year in a month. I mean, you might, certainly possible, but it's not as likely. Pick something reasonable within a month and you write a daily goal for that, and review it every morning and see if you start to notice things differently, if things show up for you differently, and if you feel that it's empowered you to obtain that goal. And then if so, maybe you can try it on a bigger scale. So again, this is a system that has been programmed by default by society, what I call the matrix operating system. And if you learn to work with it more artfully, you can get better and more satisfying results out of your life and be more fulfilled and joyous. And that's what we all really want at the end of the day. So hopefully this has been valuable for you. If you see things differently as a consequence of this, hit subscribe. I post videos like this on a regular basis. And I'm Matt Campbell, and I hope to see y'all again soon.